What's going on, everybody? I am Mike Macabre. Welcome to the channel. And if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Once I have so many subscribers, I'm going to do a raffle to where you can win something completely for free. All you got to do is be a subscriber. So if you love the Boogeyman and you want to win something Boogeyman related completely for free, hit the button. All you got to do is hit the button. Takes just a second. Do me that favor and give yourself a chance to win something. For real though, I appreciate the support, everybody. If you did click the button, thank you so much. Today we're going to be carving the most iconic jack-o'-lantern of all time. I was going to say debatably, but I don't think it's debatable. I'm pretty sure the jack-o'-lantern from John Carpenter's Halloween, from the opening scene, has to be the most iconic jack-o'-lantern. What I love about this jack-o'-lantern is it has that cool, like, old school vintage look, you know. Basically just, you know, two triangles for the eyes, triangle shapes for the eyes, triangle nose, and that big old wide grin with the square teeth. And that's what we're going to be doing today, so let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is pull up a photo of the jack-o'-lantern from the actual film. Now there are stencils online already, but we're going for screen accuracy here. So we are going to trace this. Put this up just a little bit bigger. And what I want to do is I'm going to, rather than just trace it, you know, next to each other and cut them out to save, you know, paper, I'm going to cut it actually spaced out, so that way when we put it onto here, it'll already be perfectly spaced out where everything is supposed to go. So what I'll do is I'll leave a strip here connected, you know, so that way it'll already be the correct distance apart when we put it on the pumpkin. There we go. Such a simple design, but it's so cool, man. So what I'm gonna do, like I said, so that way everything is properly distanced. We're gonna cut it all out together rather than separately. So what we'll do is we'll make like a connection line from each. You know, so we'll cut it out and we'll cut that line, and we'll, that way it'll all be connected. Now this is already connected, so we don't have to do that. But just that way everything will be spaced out properly. That way it's all one piece, rather than cutting it all out separately and trying to, you know, space it correctly and figure out exactly where it goes. We'll have those connecting points, that way it's all connected and it'll make things a bit easier. Alright, so we're gonna cut this guy out real quick. Alright, so now that we got the stencil all done, the next thing we have to do is gut the pumpkin. Alright, so I bet you guys didn't know that all you have to do is snap your fingers and the pumpkin will gut it itself. You just got to make sure you use your left hand. That is essential. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our handy dandy glue stick, we're going to take our stencil, and we're going to put some glue on the back of this, and we're going to stick it on the pumpkin. For anybody wondering, this paper this transparent paper, it's just like report holder paper. You can get it at Target or Walmart or wherever, you know, people have a stationery section, Staples, whatever. But it works great for making stencils. And you don't have to throw this away when you're done with it. You can reuse it. So I like using these to make my stencils with. Because if you use like tracing paper, it's really thin, you know, and it's just going to get ruined. This will not do that. So it is convenient for the purpose of making stencils. Alright. So, you guys can see what I mean, the reason why I left, you know, I made these connecting points. That way we don't have to guess exactly where everything is supposed to go, because it's already spaced out perfectly. That's why we did that. That's why I did it this way rather than just printing out the picture, because then it would be, you know, regular computer paper, and it would not be, you know, as durable as this paper here is. Oh, we gotta move that to its correct spot. Come on, Mr. Stencil. There we go. Almost there. So obviously we trace this on a flat surface and it's round, so we gotta adjust accordingly because of that. So, taking a look at the actual pumpkin itself will help with that. Alright, so what I did was I just referenced the photo quickly and adjusted as necessary to put things in line with exactly how they are and how they are supposed to look. So now we're just going to trace this. This is honestly, this jack-o'-lantern just works. It just does every time I do it, because I do one, you know, I do a couple of jack-o'-lanterns every Halloween, of course, you know, a couple of different designs, but there's just something about the design of this, man. It's very simplistic, you know. Obviously you can tell it's not like this jack-o'-lantern was like thought out, you know, super hard, you know what I mean? They just did it, you know. There was no pattern they went by or anything. They just made a, you know, just made a jack-o'-lantern, and it turned out to be so neat looking. And it's very simple design. I mean, you can honestly go in and just freehand this as well, you know, but we're going for screen accuracy, so that's why we went ahead and made the stencil and all that good stuff, because we want things to look just how they did on film. I'm personally like that. I like everything to look how it looks on film if I'm making something according to a film. You know, you want it to look like how it did on screen, you know. That's what's going to give you that cool, you know, nostalgic feeling when you look at the, you know, at the finished product. It's going to give you that same feel. So it makes it so much easier too. That's why we took the glue stick and we went ahead and just glued on the stencil, because it's just so much easier. Because trying to hold this thing on while doing it is a huge pain, and you're just making things harder on yourself at that point, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to have fun. Alright, so we got it all traced out. We're going to remove our stencil. And then we will fill in, obviously just fill in these lines where they're supposed to go. Alright, now we're going to carve this thing out. Alright, so we cut out the nose and the mouth, and now we got to do the eyes. Now, I didn't want to time-lapse the nose, I time-lapsed the nose and mouth. I didn't want to do that to the eyes because there's a specific way that they need to be cut. So, on the outside of this eye and on the outside of this eye, you can see the depth of the pumpkin. Therefore, you have to cut it in an angle for it to look right. I mean, you can cut it straight through. It'll still look cool, but it won't look accurate how it's supposed to be. So instead of cutting straight in on the outsides of the eyes, we're going to cut it in on an angle. Try and do this to where everybody can see it. So yeah, instead of pushing straight in, we're going to push at an angle. You don't want it to be like a super big angle, because you don't want to see a large chunk. You want to see like just enough of that. So you only have to do that with the outside rim. Do that. Then the rest of it you just cut normally how you would. Just follow the stencil. Cutting this kind of, trying to do it in a way to where everybody can see. Hopefully everybody can see it. Alright. Let's see here. Alright. And we cut it at a lot of an angle there. So we got to take some of this out. That's a cool thing, though. You could just take the bottom of your knife or whatever tool you're using and scrape away. So you can take away, but you can't add to. So it's okay if it's at too much of an angle. It's not okay if it's not enough. There you go. So yeah, that's a whole lot of an angle there. So we're gonna go ahead and scrape. I'm not doing this hard at all, just very, very softly. Guys, see what I mean though? How you can see the depth of the pumpkin? That's how you want that depth there. That's accurate to how it looks. Also, another thing is that after you cut it out, if you can still see some of the marker from your stencil, all you got to do is take some rubbing alcohol and that'll come right off. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing to this side. Cut at an angle. The rest of it, just cut straight in, follow the line. And obviously there's professional tools you can buy to do this, but I wanted to do it like how it was done on film. Obviously they didn't use any fancy tools, they just used I'm sure they just used a regular old kitchen knife to do this. So you guys can see what I mean. It has that depth. It has those edges that you want. Those are a little bit thick, so we're gonna take them down. Take those down some. Pumpkin guts everywhere. Part of it. Alright, so we're going to use the alcohol, like I was saying, and we're going to rub the rest of that stencil off of there. You guys see how that comes right off? Another quick little tip though, so if you're carving this and one of the teeth pop out or come off, or because that can happen, don't cry yourself to sleep. All you got to do is you get like a sewing needle or like a small push pin, and whatever chunk of tooth or whatever came out, you just put it in the place where it's supposed to go and just push the needle through into there, and it'll stay in place. So that way, if you put a whole bunch of work into it, you don't have to throw it out if that happens. You can always figure out ways to fix things usually. Gotta improvise. Alright. Alright, we're gonna clean this up. We're gonna pop a candle in it, and we're gonna see how it looks lit. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video and you love the Boogeyman, please hit the subscribe and the like button. Never forget, you can't kill the Boogeyman.